So just before I finish putting the power supply back together, I just wanted to focus on the fan unit because I noticed a couple of things, and this does speak of Zenith's quality of construction. The fan's mounted obviously on the inside. It's quite a thick fan by today's standards. It is brushless. I've spun it. It spins really well. I have also lubed it up with some clipper oil on the inside. So I lifted up that label, and then you can see the kind of the spindle inside. So I didn't bother to test it with a separate power supply, but you've got this foam layer here between the fan and the case, and on the outside you've got a kind of a plastic shield and some rubber grommets. So I mean, they've done pretty much everything they can to make sure that this fan A, cools the power supply as it's supposed to, and B, doesn't cause a buttload of vibration when it's doing its job. So I guess we'll find out how loud this thing is when we get it all put back together again. One other thing I need to do before I put it all back together again is I'm going to have to put, or at least hook up, not put in necessarily because this only takes 3.5 inch drives, this old 386 that I've got. But I do need to interface one 5.25 inch drives with a computer so that I can transfer games operating system onto floppy disk to load onto the BT XT. Because it has no fixed storage, so I'm going to be loading the operating system and games from 5.25 inch floppies. So what we need to do is test that the drives work. I'm going to go and assume that if one of the drives work, then both of the drives work. What we need to do is we need to go into the BIOS, which I've already actually done to make sure it works. So we've got diskette drive B as 360 kilobytes, 5.25 inch, and then what we should be able to do is restart the computer. As you can see, we have, that's a good sound, 2 diskette drives on fixed disk. I'm going to press F5 to skip the autoexec.bat, and then I'm going to put in the floppy disk. This is the first time I've used one of these drives since I was in secondary school using a BBC Micro. That would be about 25 years ago. Not long after this computer was built, in fact. So, B, dir, C, what can we copy? Games. But let's copy Arkanoid. So I'm going to copy that onto the drive. I also need to get another disk and copy the operating system on DOS 3.2. I found a website with floppy disk images. Yes. Floppy disk images for this computer. Which I will image onto floppy disks, and then I'll be able to boot the computer. Hey hey! Right, so the computer is assembled again. We've got the drive A on top there, a hard drive hidden underneath. The board is set to OneDrive, so we've got a floppy controller and serial controller there. Got the CPU card there with the diagnostic LEDs, and the memory board there, and also parallel. And those are the leads for the hard drive once the controller arrives. Now, conundrum. Which graphics card do I go for? Here we have a weird ass dual video adapter, which I cannot find any information on whatsoever. But it is CGA with composite and some dip switches, and I believe it can do both CGA and MDA. And I did think this was going to be a pure CGA machine. But when I think about the games I want to play, like Keen, Duke 1, Paranoid, things like that, they're actually EGA games. So I do have a trusty Paradise EGA card here. So I think I'm going to go with that, because it does have a few options. And because you can't run certain games on this card. So I'll keep this in reserve, just in case I do want to change this into a CGA system. But I think that would be a bit boring for now, so I'm going to go with EGA and see how this card performs on certain games and go from there.
Look, Daddy. Look! A new game is coming. Look!
Ooh.
What is that body game?
Press that button.
This button?
Yep.
What the hell is that game? One.
Go down and then press enter.
Up.
Yeah. So press enter.
Oh. Whoa. Oh my goodness gracious. Ah. What happens if I hold it? I fly. I fly down. I can't go there yet.
No, you need to do level 1 first. Press up.
I can't.
It's doing it, it's loading.
Whoa. This is awesome place ever. I did it. I got it again.
Quick, pick it up. Oh, it disappeared. You weren't quick enough.
I just got it.
Oh, well done.
I have to get that treasure chest. Oh, I can't get it yet. Why can't I get it yet?
You have to shoot it.
I like this because I can't die. I'm going to play this game. Got it.
Uh-oh, you need to shoot it twice.
They're coming. Phew. Ah! That was scary.
Well, I plugged it in and got nothing but a flashing cursor on the screen because there are no jumpers on this card. So I'm just looking up the manual to get the jumpers in the right place, and then hopefully we will have a working card. Okay, well it worked. Turns out that no jumpers is the default configuration for that card. I think I was just being impatient. But I did change the slot it was in on the back plane as well. So I've run debug, I've got into the low-level format program and some parameters that I've never heard of before. So cylinders, fair enough. Heads, fine. Reduced right cylinder. Sorry. What? Anyway, I looked it up. Apparently it's CCC +1. So I did that. Pre-comp, that's fine. Correctable error burst length. Can't find it anywhere. Option byte, step rate select. Can't find it anywhere. So I'm going with the default options there. So we've got 615, 8 heads, 616, 0 pre-comp. Are you virtually configuring the drive? No, we are not. Press Y to begin formatting drive C with interleave 3. It sounds like the stepper motor is doing its work. Who knows? And I don't know how long this will take either. This is DOS 3.2, formatting a 40 megabyte drive. I'll come back when it's done. So before this computer, the earliest version of DOS I'd used was DOS 5, which on the first disk, the disk you boot from, it's 1.44 of a megabyte disk and it's got all the programs you need. Of course, this is a 320k disk, so it doesn't have all the programs you need. I've done disk 2, and Zenith has some proprietary utilities for the preparation of hard disks. The first one that we need to use is called detect. Now there is a prep program which you can run, which will low-level format the drive and detect bad sectors and such. But when I tried that, it didn't correctly detect the size of the drive, the physical size. It detected half of it. So it undid all the work that I did with the low-level format program included in the drive controller. So you can use detect separately to detect bad sectors, which I think we should probably do. Hard disk drive 0. Okay, so I can enter bad sector addresses I already have, which I don't have any, or I can, after that I can get it to detect new ones. So hopefully there will be minimal bad sectors, fingers crossed. Well, would you believe it? This hard drive is, what, 30 years old? No bad sectors. So instead of fdisk, we have a utility called part, which was a Zenith utility, and we can allocate up to 4 partitions on the drive. Now, because it's FAT16, FAT12, FAT16, we've got maximum partition size of 32 meg. So on a 40 meg drive, I'm just going to split it in half. So fortunately, it tells us the maximum cylinder number. So all we do is we do one partition 0 to 306, and then from 306 to 613, and that's 50%. Now all I need to do is allocate, select the default boot partition, which is number 1. So that should now be active, and I should hopefully be able to transfer the system onto that drive. Okay, so the changes were made, the machine restarted just as fdisk would, and I've booted back into DOS, and again, look, format, it's a Zenith product, and interestingly I could just type it in. I didn't have to say format space C colon, which you would normally do in DOS. Asked me which drive to format, so presumably I've got C and D, so you can hear the drive clicking away. The activity light is working. So I don't know how long this is going to take to format, because I know old disks take forever to format. The next question is, how do I get the data onto the hard drive? Obviously I can copy any floppy disks I've already got data on, but a lot of the games that I want to put on here are bigger than 360k. I tried to install the controller and the drive into a less old computer, and it just didn't recognise the controller, unfortunately, so I can't just plug it into an old computer and copy the files straight onto the hard drive. I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Never mind, it would be worth it. So, having formatted the drive, I could copy files to it. I just did format C/S, which also transfers the system, and that worked. Yay! So I should be able to boot off the hard disk. unlike DOS 5, which has a setup program, you have to do that manually with DOS 3.2. So let's get on with it.
Walk into it. Hey, you can't get me now.
Try and collect the balloons though, because they give you points. Oh, there's a gun up there, look.
How do I get it?
Jump up there. You have to go left.
Left?
Go the other way. Oh, try again. Jump from there. No, the other way. That's it. Jump from there. Yay! Now, if you press these two, then you can shoot. So go and find that alien and then shoot him. No, both. That's it. See? So if you go and find the alien, then you can kill him.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back the other way.
I need...
Or you can go that way if you want.
I could just kill. Uh-oh.
Yay!
Yay, I did it.
Uh-oh, you walked into the clamshell.